So we're continuing this series of short videos for survivors of abuse. And where we got to today is looking at some of the ways that abuse can impact us for years to come. Today, we're going to talk about PTSD. So PTSD stands for post-traumatic stress disorder, right? And it can include the following things. These are things that I've taken from the NHS website. It comes from experiencing something traumatic, either a one-time traumatic event or a series of traumatic events. It can include violent assault. It can include sexual assault. It can include where you feel that you are going to die. And the symptoms include the following. You don't have to have all these things, but the symptoms include re-experiencing, avoidance, numbing, hypervigilance. So we just break those down. Re-experiencing is things like flashbacks, things like nightmares, intrusive thoughts, and physical sensations such as trembling, or it could be like shortness of breath, and a tightness in your chest. In terms of avoidance, that's where you find yourself avoiding situations that remind you of the traumatic event. You might not be able to go to a specific geographical location because it reminds you of the event. There might be certain smells or certain music or certain things that you avoid because they remind you of a traumatic event. Numbing is when you feel emotionally numb. Hypervigilance is when you're on the lookout for problems and you have difficulty relaxing or sleeping. You can be easily startled. And the thing is, these symptoms, you might have them but not realize you have them. Because for me, I got my PTSD at a young age. So for me, it was just a normal part of life. So I didn't know I had PTSD. Hypervigilance, as long as I can remember, I've had hypervigilance, and I didn't know it was called hypervigilance because to me it was just normal thinking. So those are some of the symptoms, and I share this because for me it was really helpful when I started to see, oh, I have these symptoms, and to realize, oh, I have PTSD. Is massively helpful to then know what I'm actually dealing with, what are the things that I need help with. And it was also really helpful to see growth, because then after having intensive counseling, I didn't have hypervigilance anymore. And I was like, oh, now I can tell what hypervigilance is because I don't have it anymore. But two, I was also like so encouraged because it was like, oh, this is growth. And also I just felt less tired because it's tiring being hypervigilant every day. So that's PTSD. Like I've said in the previous videos, take a break now, do something that self-soothes you, something that helps you relax, something that helps you cultivate beauty. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care.